Hi everyone, I'm recording this video as an update to my 200 metre Longwire antenna. If you saw my last video, I had created this, which is a transformer biased for a 75 ohm input, a primary coil of 11 turns, secondary coil of 4 turns, so that's the receiver side. What I had also done was built this, which is a termination resistance, 550 ohms, as specified by the Beverage antenna design, which I have borrowed from the medium wave circle, of which I'm a member. But what I have also done is built another transformer that's biased towards 50 ohms, which is this. And the reason I've done that is because my ELAD FDM Duo, which as some of you guys know, is a receiver that I now take on my DXpeditions. I built a battery pack for it, and that has a 50 ohm input. And so for that biasing, this transformer has a primary of 14 turns and a secondary of 4 turns. It's not critical. In fact, a transformer isn't critical. I've used my 200 metre Longwire on my ELAD and Sony without any transformer. But according to the information supplied with this antenna, and I think it's generally acknowledged that transformers are more likely to provide a benefit in terms of impedance matching at lower frequencies. So it's not critical, but can have a greater positive effect potentially for medium wave DX. So that is why I've built this, so as I have the option of using my portables, in particular the Sony 2001D and my ELAD with this very long piece of wire. What I've also done, on the advice of David, TVDX Rules, check out his YouTube channel, it is literally immense, is built a variable termination resistance. Now, it's specified as 550 ohms, but as David quite rightly pointed out to me, it's good to be able to experiment by varying the termination resistance. So this is a project box with a 1 kilo ohm potentiometer, which means that I can now vary the termination resistance from effectively a short to 1000 ohms, and that's basically what's inside this project box. 2 connectors, end of the antenna on one side, earth on the other. And so I'm nearly done with the construction phase. I've got 2 lengths of copper pipe for earthing, which I need to take to the woods and set up. But I need to do that in such a way that they're not obvious, and because it's not realistic for me to go there and hammer these 2 pipes into the ground and then dig them up afterwards every time I go and listen. So I need to set them up beforehand in a way that they're not obvious, so they're still there when I go back for a subsequent visit. I need to create the earthing fly leads that basically plug into here, that will then connect to the pipe via, we call them Jubilee clips in this country, but they're effectively hose clips that they're metal and you tighten them with a screwdriver. We've got like a, it's not a thread, but you can tighten them to a copper pipe, you know, by very tightly. It was also pointed out to me that it's good to put the Jubilee clip on the copper pipe before you start hammering it into the ground, because as you hammer it into the ground, it will deform and probably you won't be able to get the clip over the end of it. But I've got all those parts, and once the earthing is in place, everything else is built, and so then I'm free to go and experiment. The other outstanding issue, I suppose, is that of how to support the wire. At the moment, it's basically supported by foliage, which is good in a way, because I don't have any other means of supporting it. So, you know, literally it runs along a hedgerow that leads from where you park the car down to the DX woods. So, unfortunately, it's exactly, well, it's just over actually 200 meters long. So effectively, the end of the antenna is on the edge of the wood, right on the edge of the wood, and the receiver end is basically where I park the car. So unfortunate in that respect. But I've got to figure out a way at some point of supporting it with some kind of with some poles or rods or whatever it is. But they've either got to be suitable for pushing into the ground and then pulling them up. But that's actually not a very good idea. It's better, I guess, if they can be self-supporting. But that's quite a tricky problem to solve. Sounds easy, but in reality, how practical is it going to be to turn up at the wood with 10 or 20 of these rods and reel the antenna out and then go back? And so I've got to find a way of doing it. Fortunately, the antenna will still work as is, but at some point, that's something I've got to address. But I think what I'll probably do is test it with it supported as the way that it has been so far in use as just a Longwire. The beauty actually of the termination resistance boxes, the fixed 550 ohm and the adjustable version, is that by simply unplugging this from the end of the wire, immediately it no longer becomes a Beverage, and it becomes simply a Longwire antenna that is far less directional. So again, more opportunities to have an experiment, really. So I'm quite looking forward to it. The Longwire on its own has produced some pretty good results. I've uploaded quite a few, and I've had some really good results. The signals have been lower gain than when I took the Wellbrook ALA 1530 out running on batteries, but I think overall the signal to noise with the Longwire has been better than the Wellbrook. That's a broadband antenna, effectively amplifies everything. And although that's the woods obviously is a quiet area in comparison to my house, a built-up urban area, the Longwire produces really nice SNR. So to make it directional, point it towards South America or wherever, I'm excited to do that, and let's see what happens. But hopefully in the next few days, perhaps within the next week, I'll have the earth points in place, have created the just these simple fly leads, and then I'll be able to take it down to the woods and give it a try with the ELAD and the Sony. So yeah, watch out for some videos to be uploaded in the near future. Let's hope it works. So, in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I will speak to you soon. Thanks.